Greetings teachers, I am your moderator for today's panel discussion. My name is Javina Anastasia Dick. I welcome you all teachers to the Professional Development Seminar that was organized by the Regional Education Office. As you may know, the goal is to strengthen teachers' understanding of language arts approaches and how they can be applied in the classroom. Okay, well, since you are here, teachers, kindly shine some insight as we discuss the theme-based approach in language arts.
Good morning. My name is Lisa. I am a teacher attached to Ballard Primary School, teaching at Berkeley. So the theme-based approach to language arts teaching organizes learning around a central topic or theme that connects reading, writing, speaking, and listening activities. This approach integrates different language skills under one unifying idea, allowing students to make meaningful connections between what they read, write, say, and hear.
Greetings. My name is Miss Lisa Thomas and I am teaching at Friendship Primary School in Region 4. I'm currently a grade 6 teacher. The question that was asked earlier to my colleague is, what is theme-based approach? To add to what she said, I would simply say that a theme-based approach teaching could be a broad concept, such as friend, the environment, or caring for others. So what is focusing basically on is a theme. So those things that I earlier highlighted, friendship, environment, or caring, that's the theme in a theme-based approach. Now, your lessons, teachers' lessons, stories, and writing activities are chosen to reflect and expand on that theme, rather than teaching isolated grammar. Rules or vocabulary lists. Students engage with authentic language through stories, poems, discussion, and writing tasks that explores that particular theme.
Moderator, fellow educators. So my name is Miss Abigail Reese. I'm from region number 10 and I'm attached to the Regma Primary School, currently teaching grade 3. To me, theme-based approach is in language arts is like learning around a central topic, since that integrates in reading, writing, speaking, and listening into one cohesive experience. Also, it encourages the learners to explore language meaningfully through stories, discussion, and even creative tasks.
Greetings all. My name is Wayne Welch, a grade 2 teacher attached to St. Angela's Primary School. Just to add to what my colleagues would have mentioned earlier, a theme-based approach helps learners use language in a purposeful way. It also promotes a deeper understanding through contextual learning. This method also fosters critical thinking, and it helps students to see the relationship among ideas across discipline. When we speak about critical thinking, for example, in my grade 2 classroom, while doing the topic community, my students had to think critically about places or landmarks in the community.
That's very informative information. Now, my next question. How the theme-based approach supports teaching and learning?
The theme-based approach helps teachers teach and students learn language arts by integrating multiple language skills where students can practice reading, writing, speaking, and listening through connective activities. For example, when we explore the team community helpers, students might read stories about firefighter, which we know that a firefighter is a part of a community helper group. In that, they will have to use what we call their receptive skill and productive skills.
So I would say it's support because it encourages meaningful communication. What does that mean? That means like teams provide a real context for language use, making learning more relevant and engaging. Let's use the same topic Miss would have mentioned there, the community helper. So from that discussion, the learners can discuss the importance of community jobs, which will be like in the productive skill. So that answered the question for me.
The team-based approach supports teaching and learning basically because learners are given the opportunity to express their opinions, solve problems, and connect to real life. For example, learners are able to build vocabulary skills. They are given the exposure to related words, ideas, meaning of words. This activity improves understanding. For example, when exploring the team community helpers, students might write a letter to a community helper, for example, the fireman. In response, they would like to know how to prevent fire in their community. Also, they might write to the nurse, or simply not even writing. They are given the opportunity to just visit the hospital where they can see a nurse. And simply, whilst communicating with the nurse, they are able to understand words because they would have done it in their vocabulary skills.
So it promotes creativity and expression. Students write stories, role play, and discussing ideas tied to the team, strengthening confidence in language use. For example, when exploring the team community helpers, the students might listen to a guest speaker or watch a video on safety. Through this integrated approach, students don't just learn new words, they understand the real meaning and use.
So to conclude the question, when you ask how team-based approach support, I would have read an article by Mr. Richards and Rogers 2014, and it explained that thematic instruction helps learner use language functionally and purposefully rather than memorizing forms in isolation. This understanding aligns well with the communicative language teaching principles that emphasize on communication and comprehension.
I do agree with what was said. That begs my next question. How does teachers connect the approach to classroom practice?
When connecting these approaches to my classroom, as a grade 3 teacher, I apply the team-based approach in the following ways. For example, the team is our environment. Learners are able to read short passages about cleaning up the garbage, about Recycling. Speaking in groups, learners can discuss ways to keep our school and our environment clean.
So adding to what Miss is saying, as a grade 3 teacher, right? In my classroom, I would apply the team-based approach to writing, whereby my learner gets to express themselves in simple poems, like a slogan, a poster or so. Also, I would do it through them listening, whereby we might listen to a song, or me myself might have a nice talk with them, or probably invite somebody from the community that is in the field, and we would have like a discussion, or have the person come and meet them, like a nice short talk. That's how I would use a team-based approach in my classroom.
Since I am a grade 6 teacher, I realize that this approach is also connected to my classroom practice, because I would tend to use these same 2 language skills in my classroom. For example, the team friendship is used where I can let my students read a story about the loyal friend, which is a receptive skill. Students have to apply in the classroom and then let them have discussions on what makes someone a good friend, in which we can safely say it is the productive skill in language art. So whenever they do the discussion, we call that the productive skill, and whenever they read the story, they will have to listen to the story, in which we call the receptive skill in language arts.
I'm also a virtual educator, and this also includes the structure allows students to practice 2 or more languages skills while developing awareness about the environmental care, that is, writing, like composing a letter to a friend, listen to a short story recording, and answer comprehensive questions. Here, students learn vocabulary related to friendship, improve sentence structure, and develop empathy through expressive writing.
Okay, with all of that being said, tell me, what are some challenges that you as a classroom teacher may face?
While the team-based approach is effective, we may face certain challenges, like for example, time and planning. Developing integrated lessons around teams requires more preparation and careful alignment of the teams.
Some challenges I may face when applying the team-based approach in my school, or I should say my classroom, is resource availability. The school may lack reading materials or media resources. For example, no internet service, no videos to show the children a particular team, or graphs to explain a particular topic. So that is some of the challenge I will face when applying the team-based approach.
So, as for me, as a teacher, one of my major challenges is my learners' readiness. What does that mean? Well, since I'm dealing with younger learners, or those with limited vocabulary, because remember I'm from grade 3, they may struggle to express abstract ideas related to certain themes. So that's my major hiccups when it comes to that.
Challenges a teacher may face in the classroom while applying these skills. As for me, assessment alignment is measuring the process across integrated skills. It can be more complex than testing one area at a time, because students may use multiple language skill in connecting meaningful ways, rather than testing one isolated skill. For example, You can bring out different or all the ways, I would say, all the language skills when you're doing assessment alignment, rather than testing one grammatical skill. If you give them isolated assessment like grammar assessment.
According to Cameron 2001, thematic teaching in language classroom requires flexibility and creativity from teachers to adapt content to students' language levels and interests. Continuous collaboration among teachers can help overcome these challenges by sharing resources and strategies. Okay, teachers, to wrap up our discussion, is there any closing remarks?
It could be concluded. The team-based approach in language art encourages integrated, meaningful, and student-centered learning. My colleagues and I must give a heartfelt thank you to all the following references: Cameron L., 2001, Teaching Language to Young Learners, Cambridge University Press; Richard J.C. and Rogers T.S., 2014, Approaches and Methods in Language Teaching, 3rd edition, Cambridge University Press; Topkins G.E., 2019, Literacy for the 21st Century, A Balanced Approach, 7th edition. And that's all for today. Have a blessed day.
To conclude this panel discussion, I would like to say, through thoughtful planning and collaboration, teachers can use this approach to create engaging lessons that promote lifelong learning and communication skills. Thank you.
So in conclusion, I would like to say that team-based approach in language arts encourages integrated, meaningful, and student-centered learning.
With that being said, thank you for your time, teachers, and your collaborative effort. Do enjoy the rest of your day.